Welcome, everyone, to the webinar, Driving Business Value Through Sustainability and Purpose. I am your host, Tom Pacello. I'm the ROI guy and a business value expert, and I'm here representing Plastic Bank today, and they invited me to host this incredible webinar session. So thank you, everyone, for joining. Please participate in the chat. Be sure to add any comments or commentary that you have, your personal stories to the chat, and please fill in the Q&A as we go. We have two special guests with us today. First, let me introduce you to Christy Pogorelic. Hi, Christy. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Christy is the Chief Product Officer at Dr. Brown's Company. And those of you that have babies might know the Dr. Brown's products, Natural Flow baby bottles. Christy is the CPO, Chief Product Officer for Dr. Brown's. She leads product vision, strategy, design, development, and marketing. And she's been with Dr. Brown's Company for over 15 years. She had prior leadership roles in international and product marketing and in research. Christy, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. And we also have a very special guest, Emily Clark, joining us as well. Hi, Emily.
Hey, Tom.
Emily's the Director of Corporate Communication and Experience at Nutrabolt. They're a fast-growing global active health and wellness company with a portfolio of market-leading performance-oriented brands. What are those brands? Well, right here, I've got C4. I've got it ready to go for this podcast and webinar. They're a global active health and wellness company with a portfolio of market-leading performance-oriented brands that energize and fuel active lifestyles. That's a great way to put it. Emily is a communication expert with experiences in technology, financial services, and hospitality. And Emily, thank you for joining us today.
I'm super happy to be here. I'm glad to be invited.
Awesome. Well, Christy, first we'll start with you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about Dr. Brown's and your sustainability program there.
Oh, sure. So Dr. Brown's Company is actually a family-owned and operated company based in St. Louis, Missouri. We make a full line of infant feeding and soothing products, but what we're known for is our baby bottle, so the Dr. Brown's baby bottle. We launched the bottle in 1997, but have since become the #1 selling baby bottle brand, say that 5 times fast, in the US. We manufacture products in the US, in Europe, China, and India, and distribute products in over 45 countries. But really, as a company, our goal is to provide seamless product assortments that support baby's health, development, and comfort. We want to be consistent with positive, supportive, and informative messaging for families, and really easing the anxiety of parenthood and becoming a new parent. And really to work towards a sustainable future for growing families as well, and just kind of tying that all in together. And so,
how does that relate to sustainability, Christy? I know that's important to you and to the brand.
It's critical, and it's really tied into everything we do. So we really have kind of 4 pillars, though it's always evolving in our program. And the first is to design products that are really designed to grow with families. So multi-use materials that last longer and just can hold up longer in the household. We make better choices with our packaging. So designing packaging that's easy to recycle, is recyclable and made of recycled materials. Reducing plastic in our packaging as well is a big initiative for us and an ongoing project, and promoting recycling. So in addition to focusing on the packaging piece, giving parents the information they need to recycle the products as well. And so we have kind of a recycling by the numbers page on our website that takes you through what part of the baby bottle can go in the bin and what needs to go to a special facility. But finally, and maybe most importantly, is our partnership with Plastic Bank. So we were really thoughtful in our partnership with our partnership choice. We've seen brands approach it in so many different ways. So there's, kind of like a focus per product line or per time of year, and kind of a more shotgun approach to sustainability, which I think works great for a lot of brands. For us, we wanted to be consistent with our partner all year round and just be able to tie into one strong message for families. And so, what we feel is that the plastic bank is really aligned with our values in conservation and community growth and has been a really natural tie-in to our brand and product development.
Awesome, Christy. Thank you. Emily, would love to get a little bit more information about Nutrabolt while I crack this open. Hold on. There we go.
I love
Got
that.
that going.
The noise. I love it.
Exactly. And tell us a little bit about the sustainability programs that you work on at Nutrabolt.
Absolutely. So like everything else we do, I'm going to start with our mission. So our mission here at Nutrabolt is to innovate, inspire, and make products that maximize human potential accessible to all. So as you can imagine, with the kind of products we put out, the kind of brands we have in our portfolio, we're very competitive. We're very, very performance focused. We want our consumers to achieve in their daily lifestyles. Whether for some of our consumers, that's a bodybuilding competition. For others, you know what, that's chasing around 3 kids through the summertime. So whichever level you're on, we're here to support your performance. And we look at everything through a performance lens, and sustainability is certainly no exception there. We are competitive about that as well. If you think about kind of the size of our company and how long we've been around, you compare us to some CPG companies, you think Coke, Pepsi, some of the really big obvious ones, we're really young. So we've got a long way to go. And we're working hard to be competitive and compete against the biggest of the big. If you look at the other side, some of our more direct competitors, and maybe the energy drink space, the pre-workout space, the protein or hydration spaces, we've been around a long time. We are looked to as leaders, and we want to stay leaders and show that we have been around for more than 20 years and will be around much longer than 20 more. So this is how we stick that stake in the ground. We're going to be around a long time. And that means we have to care about things that are going on in the world. We have to care about sustainability. And you know what? Just because of who we are, we're going to try to be the best at it too.
Excellent. Well, I did a workout yesterday morning, spin class last night, and it's definitely energizing me and getting me through this morning. So thank you, Emily. Pass this back to you, Christy. When we look at the sustainability and being a priority for the business, what do you think was the big driver, Christy, for Dr. Brown's when it came to the business reasons?
Definitely our customers. It's a growing customer expectation. And so we also believe it's not just an expectation, but a core value. And so we can't connect with our customers if we don't understand and connect with them on like those really just base level values. So we also see a high value in being early adopters of change that we know are inevitable in the market. So, and for us, we're thankful and lucky that that's happening, right? Because on a personal level, we also want to drive these programs through.
Excellent. And Emily, I know that you inherited the program at Nutrabolt, that you didn't start it. Tell us a little bit about the business reasons and why you think this is so important, some of the initiatives that you think it helps you to drive.
Yeah, I think I spoiled it a little bit in my last answer, but again, it's really about this longevity. We're going to be around a long time. We need to have a place to exist in a long time to be around and help our consumers, and they need to have a place to succeed and perform as well. But I probably look at it a little bit differently than a lot of your clients and a lot of people you work with. So I'm on the communication side, and I have always been an employee first person. So why is it a priority for our business? Because we asked our people, we asked our teammates, we asked our partners, we asked our board, our business partners, our vendors, what's important to them. This is important. This is really important to people, from an investor level to a consumer level. There's really no getting around it. And then just to kind of double down on that employee engagement part, a successful or a good employer brand, a good workplace, provides somewhere for their people to go. It's bigger than themselves. they want to do work. We want to do work that's bigger than ourselves. Coming to work, you know what? It's very satisfying to make and sell some of our excellent products, but to know that we're I'm going to try to get the phrase right to impress all of my friends at Plastic Bank, but gathering to end poverty, that just ties so obviously into our mission to level the playing field. It really gives our people something to grab hold of, and makes them feel like they're doing something. This company is doing something outside of ourselves. We're growing as people while we're running business.
I love that. Would love to find out from the audience and post our first poll of the day. How important is it for you to grow your sustainability, to implement and grow it now? So if you can please answer this for us, we'll be able to share the results. So is it extremely important, kind of a nice to have, or not important at all? Awesome. So pop those answers in there. Give it one more second. All right. Thanks everyone for participating. Let's share the results and see what it says. All right. So it looks like extremely important to the business, 57%. Important to the business, 35%. So this is as important to you as it was for Dr. Brown's and for Nutrabolt, for Christy and for Emily. So love that. Love that we're all here today and we're working on something that's really important for you and important for the business overall. So let's see, let me get this out of the way. Just mechanics. All right. Can everyone see the screen? Mm-hmm. Perfect. How did you gather resources for your programs? Emily, this is something that I know can be a struggle for companies to kind of gain the support and gather it. What's some advice that you have and kind of experience that you can share with us there?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit of a curveball on this one, Tom. I think gathering the resources and getting the buy-in, you know what? We had great executive buy-in for our Plastic Bank partnership and a lot of our other sustainability efforts. I know not everybody is that lucky to have a leadership team that can really see that way forward. So I'm going to answer this a little bit differently, since that was not the hardest part. You've got to have that executive buy-in. You've got to get that signature on the paper. But then it's everybody else in your company that's going to give this legs. Once you have gotten the resources to implement it, keeping it going, telling the story, making it real, something that your teammates, your partners, your consumers can touch, taste, and feel along with you. That's really the hard part, getting other teammates and other departments to buy in to make this partnership be all that it can be. That's the tough part. That's really it's not gather resources, sign the contract, and we're done. This is an ongoing deal. And I will tell you, this is one thing I really love about working with Plastic Bank. Not every partner I have, I would say less of them than more of them do this, but we meet every month. We talk about programs we can do. We talk about how we can include marketing and retail and supply chain and sales, and how we can make this part of who we are at Nutrabolt. It's really so much more than the beginning. And Plastic Bank, they truly do an incredible job to make this something real for me, and allows me to make it real for our people. We meet monthly. I get the pleasure of speaking here today, but Plastic Bank, my friends at Plastic Bank are going to turn around tomorrow and speak to my teammates about World Oceans Day, leadership through sustainability, and they're going to get involved directly with our employee resource group. So sorry to turn the heat up and say that, that's something that they can do with you. And now everybody will be knocking on Phil's door. I know Phil's out there somewhere listening. Yes. But you gave me too much of an opportunity on this slide. This is me on this slide with a couple of teammates, and we're out there at a collection branch for Plastic Bank in Bali. And what did I learn on this visit? The collectors that I met personally, that I spoke with, the staff that I spoke to out there, They say that they have a 20% higher income collecting with Plastic Bank versus doing it on their own, which
That's
they were already
amazing.
doing. So again, direct tie into that mission we have. It's really, we have that connective tissue that we can keep connecting those dots. 20% higher income, talk about maximizing potential. That is our mission.
Emily, love that. I love the need for that executive leadership and sponsorship. That's something we talk about. It's invaluable to have that kind of top-down initiative, the cross-functional involvement that you're driving so that it is not just thought of as, oh, that's that branding, that's that marketing program, that's that sales program. It is truly woven into kind of the DNA now of the company. And then I love the personal connection that you went on this mission. You got to see it firsthand and see the impacts, and then take that back and then offer that to others so that they're directly engaged and involved. And when we look at today's generation of employees, much more so than, each generation, I think successively builds on it. The new generation wants to get involved. They want to work on purpose-based projects, and they want to see the impact beyond just that W-2, that paycheck, right? So really, really good stuff. Christy, I know you were there from the beginning of the program at Dr. Brown, and being the chief product officer, have a great role to play in getting the buy-in. What were some of the challenges that you had, if there were any, and kind of how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I mean, for us, I think that, there was a desire to do something. I think my biggest challenge was wanting to do everything at once. And to Emily's point, like, it doesn't stop once the contract's signed. So what kind of project is manageable? What is something that we can get going and succeed with right away so that we can continue to build? And so that was probably my biggest challenge, was slowing myself down.
Hmm.
But, I think once we were able to start showing the value, it was really easy to build on it. So we started with a product line. We launched a plastic neutral bath line with like a really obvious tie-in with water and conservation. And then we were able to expand the commitment with a plastic neutral pledge to help prevent 31 million bottles from entering the ocean, and really tying that back to our best-selling products to gain more exposure for Plastic Bank and more exposure for the program. And so really just kind of the gradual build, to see how it went and to show success every step of the way.
I love that. Now that's a great tie-in, Christy, to something that we know we ultimately have to prove, because there are going to be folks on board in the executive team, in our employee base, in our teams, and our partners that know that we want to do this as a mission, as a purpose-based project. But at the end of the day, businesses are there to be businesses, and you've got to make money. And there are going to be some within the organization that are focused a lot more on that: a chief financial officer, a chief executive officer, a business owner. So what I want to do next is pivot into the topic of today, and that's business value, and trying to see, is there tangible business value that we can begin pointing to and pointing our teams to with regard to sustainability programs. So are we gaining an improvement in marketing? Are we boosting activations? What is it doing to our customer engagements? And ultimately, what is it doing to our employees and keeping them engaged? And I want to take each of these in pieces. So, Christy, I'll go back to you on this first.
Okay.
When it comes to marketing, when we look at that, we've got things like the value of earned media. So how much are the media placements that Plastic Bank is kind of giving the brand and the image out there? What is that worth? The effectiveness of paid media, when you have a logo and a trusted logo and a trusted sustainability branding on your product, what is that doing? And then the equivalent value of content, if the partner that you're partnering with in sustainability is providing you with webinar content, is providing you with videos, is providing you with logos and other material that you can use, that can have a value too. So talk about some of these things that you were able to get in your partnership, and kind of how you think it's had an impact on marketing value within the organization.
Well, I think that I'm sure Emily can relate to this, that content is almost everything.
Mhm.
You can't have enough content. And so, what we want to make sure is that we have meaningful content, which can be challenging when it's a quality and a quantity game. And I think working together to tell the story and utilizing the content that the Plastic Bank has provided us to support the messaging has really helped us to connect with our customers. I mean, I think that, new parents coming into a new stage of life have like a heightened awareness to the stress of and consideration of like the future for the planet.
Mhm.
And we want to ease that anxiety and show them through this content that we're going to help them take care of it, that they're making smart choices with their product decisions, but that they really have a partner in our brand. And also, we're connecting with influencers who have those sustainability platforms, and that's a big part of their brand, and are able to reach new markets with that content and with that mission. So it's been really important. And, in terms of earned media and PR placements, it's definitely been something that we've seen more engagement with than other kind of branded posts. And again, I think it's just because people connect to it. We all kind of share that concern, and we also share a connection to the ocean and the world around us. And so it's easy to gravitate towards that information and that content.
Love that. Emily, over to you. I know influencers are really important to your brand as I hold up your product for product placement. Talk about marketing and what sustainability can do there from a business value perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's always, you always need just one step further of differentiation, of course. And this is something that I look at that others in our space don't play with this. So this is a really unique thing. This partnership with Plastic Bank about us in that way. And we do have some great influencer programs. We have we have a really, really fun marketing group. We have and thousands of influencers. And so taking it back to using your own people as marketers, as influencers, I view our teammates and our paid influencers really in the same bucket. So we provide some of the same incentives to our teammates as we do to influencers. And it's about, for us, again, it's about taking it that step further, making it real. Christy's absolutely right. Content is king. There's no way around it. And people want it constantly all the time now. So it's hard to do and hard to do authentically. We do a great job. Christy's team does a great job as well there. But things like getting involved with the brand and the partnership, exploring how to be maybe individually plastic neutral yourself. We do things like award offsets for special achievements internally. We can do the same with influencers. So it's that, again, that ownership piece, making people feel like they own this partnership, they own the brand, and they can bring the two together and be a champion for it in whatever space that they're in, whether they're talking to a retailer, a customer at an event, a convenience store owner, whoever it might be there. This stuff matters.
Yeah. And Emily, you said it well, it's hard to feed that content dragon. It's constantly consuming, right? And you've got to have this constant stream of content. And if your partner can help you with that, it's not going to replace everything that you do, but if they can help you with it, with these important pieces of content, celebrating special days, celebrating special milestones, I think that really helps a lot. So definitely business value there. Emily, you mentioned something really important in terms of like going out to the retail store and getting activated within those locations. Same thing with e-commerce. Talk about how important sustainability, branding, and the programs at Plastic Bank in particular are helping you in the area of retail activation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to tell a little story. I love to tell a little story, so I don't spend a ton of time in store in the field. I mostly sit behind my screen and try to support the very important people who do, but occasionally I do make it out to a store or out on site to an event. Plastic Bank and I have been to South by Southwest together recently this year. I've been in a number of convenience stores, and one interaction with a customer sticks with me in particular, with a consumer, I should say. We were outside a store, had a tent, had a little event and activation going, handing out cans. There was a lady walking by. She grabbed a can, and she walked away, and I could tell something caught her out of the corner of her eye. I was holding and filtering through some Plastic Bank materials. She circled all the way back around, and she said, I think I saw out of the corner of my eye that says Plastic Bank. And I was really excited to jump into a little spiel about Plastic Bank and how we're plastic net zero and what that means to us at Nutrabolt. And she said, can I take a second can? And I said, oh, you absolutely have as many as you want. She said, I want you to know I want to take 2 because I want to take this home and I want my husband to try it, because after today, this will be his new energy drink. This is what he has to drink forever now that I know you're connected to Plastic Bank, and these types of things are important to your company. So that's one story, but imagine how many like that there could be.
Yeah, absolutely. And Christy, talk a little bit about activation and how important this has been as a business value to your sustainability program.
Yeah, I mean, I think that our sustainability program is something that has been echoed by our retail partners. So, if you look at the Targets and Walmarts and the Amazons, they all have an even bigger opportunity and also obligation to respond to kind of the needs of our environment. And so it makes the decision for them to place our products and make them available to new customers even easier, right? But e-commerce, I think, has been a really special place for us to tell the story. So whether it's video content through our detail pages and just our images and our carousels, but also through syndicated user-generated content, we're really able to show the value and tell more of a story than we'd ever be able to on a box. So it's been great.
Excellent. Another really important dimension, elevated consumer expectations. We spoke about this a little bit. When we look at some of the statistics, I think they're really telling. So both of you are premium product oriented. And I think that consumers are very picky about what they put in their bodies, what they're going to put in their children's bodies, what they're going to use, what they want to be associated with. And I think if you're going to justify a premium product and a premium price, sustainability can definitely play a really important role in that. Talk about that, Emily, in the changing customer kind of expectations when it comes to sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you say customer versus consumer, to me, that means, the manager of a store, the small convenience store owner, or, maybe it's a buyer for Target, somewhat on a larger scale there. Some of those larger groups that we talk about, there are requirements. You have to be involved to play well and to get their buy-in, which is really, really important for a CPG company. You at this day and age, you've got to have to play the game. You've got to get in there and you've got to do it. Of course, sustainability, not a game at all. Don't want to convey that. But so let's talk about a convenience store owner that may have this much shelf space. They have room for maybe 3 cans or 3 tubs of pre-workout, let's say. And they have 6 sales reps in there trying to get their 3 cans in those 3 spots. That's a selling tool, because does the convenience store owner themselves necessarily pick their favorite product or understand what, you know, the ingredients or the performance does compared to one or the other. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but what they can understand is plastic net zero, involved in sustainability, care about the future, and that translates to a responsible person to do business with. And I want to do business with a responsible person myself. So I want to be the responsible person picked to do business with on that level. So not sure if that was the answer you were going for, but that I wanted to take it a little bit different from the consumer level.
Yeah. 8 out of 10 will make a decision based on sustainability. And so this is becoming absolutely vital. This is Capgemini. Talk about a major consulting company doing the right research out there on consumer preferences. 8 out of 10 will pick or change their preference based on sustainability. And Emily, it goes to that story that you told before. Chrissy, as Chief Product Officer, how important is this to you, kind of meeting the elevated customer consumer expectation around sustainability?
Right. I mean, you know, my biggest job is to represent the voice of our customer, of that end user within our organization. And so, and two, you know, our customers are really changing. We have a millennial mom and we have a Gen Z mom. And in 2025, 65% of new parents, I believe, are going to be Gen Z parents. And so really kind of understanding those changing values. And so we do see that there are shoppers out there who will pay more for a product with sustainability benefits and call outs. However, I think, you know, we've taken the stance and the approach that we're going to offer sustainable products without a premium, right? And so we want to make it accessible, and we want to acknowledge that it's kind of our responsibility as a company to provide you with products that meet those core needs. And so we want to keep our products accessible, and we want to keep sustainability accessible. And I think that what that does is it opens us up to more customers, as opposed to ruling some out who may not be able to afford that extra cost for that little bit of peace of mind that we can offer.
I love that it's still a premium product and you have this feature of sustainability, because in my mind, it's as important as many of the other features and many of the brand aspects of what we're building is sustainability. And because of the partners and other things that you're choosing, you're able to do this in a cost-effective manner so that you're not having to boost that price, but still be able to deliver that premium product in the customer's hands. Emily, one of, I know your passions is employee engagement. You spoke about it, how your employees are the influencers within the organization. How important is sustainability to the employees?
You know, if I pulled up our materiality assessment, I could tell you exactly how important it is. I don't have it in front of me, but I can tell you we asked and they answered, and it's scored as being highly important. We have teams throughout North America. We have teams throughout Europe as well. Operating in Europe, I think there is a difference between how Europe views sustainability and how the States views sustainability. So luckily, our own teammates give us this global perspective and help us understand how different people, different audiences are viewing sustainability and how important it is to different parts of the world, different types of consumers. But, you know, Chrissy's spoken a lot about authenticity. We try to always lead with authenticity and be it as genuine as we possibly can. And you know what? People can tell. People can tell when you're real and when you're full of it. So our people can tell. Our people can tell it's important to us. They have joined us in making it important to them, and we keep it in front of them. Again, super important part of being a successful workplace employer brand. They say there are 3 C's of employee engagement, or 3 C's of employer brand. It's your culture, It's your communication and it's your citizenship. Your citizenship is one of the three. It truly, truly is important. And increasingly so. I think Christy touched on this at some point as well. People who are graduating college now, people who are entering the workforce, they view things a lot differently. They view the world a lot differently. If you're going to dedicate 8 hours a day, maybe more, to a company, to a job, it's got to be doing something beyond what you're doing as a business.
Yeah, I think the younger generation has figured out that purpose matters. And it's something that I think took my generation a lot longer to figure out. Christy, how important is it for your employee engagement? I mean, these statistics that we're showing here are absolutely stunning from Qualtrics, that 23% more likely to gain loyalty from an employee and have them last more than 3 years, higher engagement scores, more likely to go to work for a company that has great sustainability programs.
I almost thought they'd be higher, but I bet as we see, more and more Gen Zers join the workforce, we'll see those numbers go up. But I think, it's going back to Emily's point about purpose, right? Like if we believe in what we're doing, we do a better job. If we feel good about what we're doing, we put more into it. We're more thoughtful about our choices, and we're more passionate about our work in general. I think that, overall at Dr. Brown's as a culture, we're really focused on families and providing products that make kind of an immediate difference in households. And so it's really an easy tie-in to expand to wanting to do more outside of the household and within the community and within the world. And especially as we look at, our distributors who are all over the country, or I'm sorry, all over the globe, in different environments, and a lot of the places that the Plastic Bank's at, that we're working in their communities and making a difference.
Yeah. And like you said, it's beyond just the sustainability program with Plastic Bank, where there's the whole poverty angle and lifting people out of poverty at the same time. And Emily, I know when you went to Bali, that was an important part of your experience there. You saw it firsthand. I mean, 20% improvement in income for some of these families means the difference between having adequate health care and having food to eat, and an entire change in their life and their family's life, and then life of others in the village that depend on them from a work standpoint. So when we look and go back to the tangible business value, we spoke about marketing, the value of the content, the value of the programs, the value of the influencers, boosted activations with retail, grabbing that invaluable shelf space, being featured in e-commerce, being featured in those retail establishments, grabbing the shelf space from someone where it's competitive, elevated customer engagement, engaging with these elevated expectations, and then ultimately better employee engagement. So what I want to do now is pop another poll out there to our audience and get you all to participate. Where have you experienced, if you already have a program, or where do you expect to find the highest tangible business value? So the poll should be up if you want to go and answer it. There we go. We're starting to get some people to participate. So please pop in your response of where you think you're going to get the biggest benefit to the business. So improved marketing, boosted activations, elevated customer engagements, or better employee engagements. And give one more moment. Excellent. Thank you for participating. Pop your answer in there quick, and I'm going to close the poll. All right, closing in 3, 2. All right, let me share the results out. So a good mix of results. Improved marketing is 32%. The highest was elevated customer engagements. Customer expectations are now elevated. So definitely understand that. So definitely that kind of outreach, that engagement with the consumer is where folks are looking for it. And that is probably the easiest place to measure it when it comes to the actual tangible. Sometimes with the employee engagements, sometimes a little harder to measure that, but we know that those impacts are good. And boosted activations, I think for those in retail and e-commerce, you can definitely take measurements of like improved shelf space and improved product placement and things like that to measure it. So 4 key areas. And when we look at this, you can consult with Plastic Bank. We built a little framework and model so that you can kind of assess your own and start to get an appreciation for exactly how much benefit is being delivered across all of these different areas. So really important when you're wanting to get more support for your programs to be able to speak in business value terms, not just in the purpose driven terms. So want to quickly address a big part of any program, which is assurances. We've seen programs that have been criticized because maybe they're not as transparent or as authentic as they need to be. Emily, talk about how important trust and transparency is to your sustainability programs.
Trust and transparency. There's nothing more important. And I'm just keep cheating this session, Tom. I apologize. I'm looking in the chat, and there's a question in there about greenwashing that I'm really happy to get. I think this kind of ties in a little bit to there as far as trust and transparency goes. The interesting thing about some ESG roles, some sustainability roles, or even roles in DEI, corporate citizenship, other elements of ESG, you know what? Sometimes the person in that role is just the person who cares the most. And that's how it starts. So that's me. I'm our person that cares the most, and I now oversee our ESG programs. And I am nervous about greenwashing or saying the wrong thing in any format constantly. I am always worried about saying the wrong thing, saying something that's maybe a little inaccurate or not fully transparent. And that's where good partners come in. If I am not sure, I ask my friends at Plastic Bank, is this something that's 1,000% accurate and honest, transparent, and trustworthy? I have a few other good partners that I lean on. Try not to operate in any kind of vacuum or silo within myself or my team or Nutrabolt as a whole. Ask your partners. Don't say things without asking your partners. They want you to say the right thing too. If you've got good partners, they won't let you say anything that's not authentic or trustworthy. And man, I really lean heavily on a couple of good partners. I have a really outstanding ESG firm that keeps me on track and keeps me moving forward and make sure I don't say anything that I'm not supposed to. And the Plastic Bank team, again, I talk to them all the time and run our language by them, work with them directly on things like our ESG report and social messaging, press releases, anything we put out there. I have them look through. I am terrified of greenwashing. I'm terrified of saying the right thing or the wrong thing. My worst fear is to tell a lie in this space. So lean on your partners. That would be my answer to all of this.
Yeah, consumers will call you out on it. Definitely. Emily, as a chief product officer, Christy.
That's okay. I'll respond. At this point, I will respond to Emily.
No, that's okay. I was looking at Emily and I asked the question, Christy, Dr. Brown's chief product officer, numbers are important, reporting is important, third-party validation is important. Talk about how you assure transparency.
Kind of going back to what Emily said, we really rely on Plastic Bank for all of our reporting. I am also very afraid of greenwashing because it undercuts the value of the program, right? And we'd never want to diminish any trust with our retail partners or our families that are using our products at home and making decisions maybe based on sustainability. So we rely heavily on our numbers. We're actually always trying to improve our internal reporting as well. Because we're a family-owned, privately held company, it's easy for me to make decisions and say, yes, let's get that in recycled paper. And yes, let's, take the plastic out of that package. And then, 6 months later, I'm like, wait, we didn't measure anything.
Yeah.
We just did it. And I'm so glad that we were able to do it. But being better about kind of reporting on those changes and identifying new opportunities for change is something that is incredibly important to me and a work in progress.
Yeah. What I love is the ability to see the offsets, to see the metrics and be able
Mhm.
to have the full transparency down to knowing kind of who collected it, exactly how much was collected.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of level of transparency, I think, is industry changing.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons why I was attracted to work with Plastic Bank as well.
Mhm.
A lot of folks ask, what inspired you to work with Plastic Bank? And more importantly, kind of, Christy, for you, since you were there from the beginning, kind of how you started and how you got this ball rolling with Plastic Bank in partnership.
So I was inspired. Well, at the time I was living in Southern California. And so I
Mhm.
was, kind of looking at the ocean and also trying to look at new ways to bring sustainability into our organization. We were also working on a new product line, and all just kind of came together as an opportunity to dip our toes in the water, pun intended, with Plastic Bank and with kind of this plastic neutral product line and see how not only, it worked internally for us, but also, how our customers responded to it.
Yeah.
And, even before the line was fully launched, we were already signing our next agreement to expand it with our bottles, because it, it was such a great connection with Handicraft or with Dr. Brown's. So
Yeah. And are you net zero now as an organization?
we are not, but we
Okay.
are getting there. Yeah.
And that's an aspiration, right? So
Yes,
even,
yes.
and your journey has been a while, so this can
Mhm.
occur in steps. And I think it has to in a way. You've got to, as you said, dip your toes in the water, get
Mhm.
it going, can start small, but build it up into a big program, ultimately with that goal of net zero, or even some organizations that are net positive. Emily, talk about your journey, kind of where it is now and ultimately where you aspire to take it to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. So I touched on it earlier. How did I start? I started out as a person who cares a lot. And luckily I joined a company who cares a lot. So that's how it all started. Where are we now? I've been avoiding numbers this whole time, but I'm gonna switch it up on you now. I have our impact dashboard pulled up, and
Oh,
I'm going to
sweet.
try to say these numbers right because they're very big. Very proud of these numbers. We have Nutrabolt is plastic net zero today, and we have prevented 202 million 687,617 plastic bottles from entering the oceans, or the equivalent, that amount of
Over
plastic.
200 million. Did I hear that correctly?
Over 200 million. Yes. If I'm looking
Wow.
at this number, if I'm saying it wrong, then Phil's out there somewhere squirming in his seat. But I'm looking at our impact dashboard, and so this is right now. This is real time, which I love. I love this dashboard and being able to give somebody a really specific number when they ask. It's kind of it's amusing to be able to get that specific and have people say, I'd have been okay with the ballpark, but you got me down to the plastic bottle.
Yeah.
And it's very amusing for me to do that for when people ask. But it says we have impacted 369 communities, and I often zoom in
Love
on our
that.
impact dashboard map, and I think fondly of the people who I met in Bali. I think about Deborah and their team out in Bali. So I take it very personally. But what's next? What is next? Again, another thing I love about Plastic Bank, we are thinking about what's next. And they're thinking about ways to take us and create programs into the future of sustainability. So today, Plastic Bank. So we're removing plastic. So some of our products come in plastic, but as you're showing there, lots of aluminum. Maybe there's some opportunity to incorporate aluminum. That just gives, in my mind, collectors a greater opportunity to earn, more things to pick up, more things to collect from. We're all about the next opportunity for people in these coastal communities, for our planet, for our sustainability mission, and our competitive edge. If we're being honest as a business, all of that is what's next. So I'd love to come on again in a year or two and let you know what did come next.
Yeah, I would love to see that, because as you indicate, if you're on the beach collecting plastic, there's invariably going to be some aluminum there as well. Why not pick that up? Why not compensate those community members with the healthcare and the resources that they need and help save the environment? So Emily and Christy, thank you so much. We are to the Q&A portion of our event, but before that, Camilla, welcome.
Hello, hi everyone. I'm Camila, Director of Marketing at Plastic Bank. I hope you enjoyed the session with our dear speakers, Christy, Emily, and Tom, our invited host. Just before we go into Q&A, there are some very interesting questions and still open, so you can still ask questions to the speakers. We didn't want to make this session about Plastic Bank. We really wanted to have, Christy and Emily addressing some of business questions or how you drive value from your impact, from your purpose, sustainability programs. In case you want to know more about our products, we have subscriptions for small, medium business. We have more tailored programs for enterprise. Just say hello in the chat. We can get in contact with you, or send us an email at info@plasticbank.com, and we'll be super happy to get in contact with you and share with you more details. Now, let's go through Q&A. I'm going to just bring some questions that were already in the Q&A from the participants. There was about greenwashing that was already addressed, so I'm going to skip to the next one. Tejas, for Christy, what advice would you give to small business who are hesitant to invest in sustainability due to perceived high costs?
That is a great question and a very relatable one. So definitely start small. If you can work it into the cost of the development of a product line, for example, and you can show that you're still able to hit your margins, it's a great way to kind of get started and roll it out. And with the consumer research. So if you are able to maybe host a small focus group and just get that little data to really show your board or your leadership team the value that your customers place in that program, I think that's been very helpful for me. But also, being able to articulate the opportunities in the market and that competitive edge that you'll gain with a small investment as a place to start is a great way to get started.
Great, Christy. Start small. I think it's a good advice, and you kind of prove the value throughout the time, and then you go increasing. And I think that's been the case with Dr. Brown's very pertinent question to you. And just to comment, I just received from a dear customer, I cannot say the name here for how do you say? We cannot just display what the name of the customer is. Yeah, sorry, yeah, I missed the words. But we saw he ran kind of a survey with the two different products with a stamp on it saying that it was a plastic neutral partnership with Plastic Bank. And he saw the purchase intent increase 300%.
Wow.
So sometimes it's an easy way for you to prove, that that's going to work if you're struggling to justify. But sometimes it's just putting out there, in a product line, or starting with the small impact, showcasing that and seeing how that generates more engagement from the audience. So it was a really striking factor that we saw and we received from this partner. And we were like, wow, it definitely, there is a brighter future out there where customers and consumers are demanding this from the brands they use. The next one is the question from Eric for both. If you were to summarize in 3 words, what's in it for you to partner with Plastic Bank?
Will you repeat that for me one more
I'm gonna
time?
re- Yeah, I'm going to repeat the question. Summarize in 3 words, what's in it for you to partner with Plastic Bank?
What's in it for me?
Yes, or for
Yeah.
NutraBolt
And
and for
only
Dr.
3
Brown's.
words, which makes it tough.
3 words. That's the tough one. Um, I need 4.
Okay.
Take it.
What does it mean? I'm gonna steal Plastic Bank's mission altogether. Gathering for poverty, gathering to end poverty. That's mission driven partnership. I'll try another 3. Mission driven partnership.
Yeah, I mean, I
Thank-
think I would just go with 1 and just, use connection as the word, right? Because it's the opportunity to connect with our customers. It's the opportunity to kind of connect within our environment, with the communities around us and internally with our employees.
Great. Thanks, both. And I think those 3 words and this 1 word connects a lot to what we do and this mission of gathering, right? Gathering people, being on the who is selling the product, who is buying or who's consuming the product, and also the world around us. Very inspiring to hear this from you both. And there is another question that's Chris for Emily. How important was material analysis in your sustainability journey? Is there a first step you took? Can you share how you did it?
Yeah, that assessment was the first step. So we tend to jump in with 2 feet when we jump into something. So we jumped into our partnership with Plastic Bank and an ESG strategy as a whole. Kind of, we went from 0 to 100 and we wanted to get there real quick, but we wanted to do it, of course, in an honest and authentic way. I think you've got to start with that materiality assessment. What is truly important? You truly don't know until you ask. Smart people, sometimes we have a general idea. We can kind of read the room and see what people are interested in, but you've got to ask, you've got to do that assessment. I do think that is an important first step. It can show you that maybe it's more important than you thought it was, or maybe it's as important as another topic that you have got to split some resources between, but you don't know until you do that assessment.
Thanks, Emily. And I have a last one here. Do we have time, Tom?
Yeah, let's do 1 more.
Okay. How did you find, this is for both, how did you find and which criteria did you use to choose your purpose partners to play on environmental and social impact? So basically, it's how did you find about Plastic Bank and other relevant partners, and which criteria was used to define about like starting the partnership?
Yeah, Christy, wanna
Yeah, so when we kind of like wanted to look at ocean bound plastic or ocean plastic and kind of seeing what we could do about that particular issue, I started researching different organizations and suppliers that might be able to work with us, and connected to the Plastic Bank organization because we felt like they aligned with our values the most. I loved the community piece of their outreach, and I think the reporting, just going back to the partnership and the ability to be able to check in on our progress any day, to send a snapshot to our whole team and show them where we're at, and engage the marketing team on a Tuesday afternoon with a really specific number, was super helpful, especially as we report those numbers to our retail partners.
Camilla, thanks so
Thanks,
much
Christy.
for the questions. Yeah, Emily and Christy, thank you. We are at time. The recording will be available, so check that out. info@plasticbank.com to obtain some more information. When it comes to the business value, remember marketing, activation, consumers, and employees in that order is a great way to kind of look at it. So please work to calculate and generate business value so you can justify against those costs and some of the questions there. And again, Christy, Emily, thank you for sharing all your experiences, all of your wisdom and advice on how to get these programs adopted and approved. And please, thank you. Join us for the next webinar, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.